How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Scarlet, and welcome to a video, guys. Today, I'm going to be going through a lot of things, so please be ready, and let me explain a lot of interesting details and huge news. So, first things first, you guys may have seen the new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that were posted before that trailer, like actual possible real leaks that are connected to the upcoming stuff for these games, the stuff we've already seen, and for the future, plus also some details that you guys may have missed from yesterday's trailer. A lot of details that even I missed that I've only learned about today. So let's get started with the first thing, which is there was this old leak from back in 2018. I covered this one a long time ago, and this is being shared by Leaks Pokemon. There was this old leaked image, an old leaked post that specifically talked about the same stuff that we're now seeing with these games. So what is that post? Well, it was this one by a man called Piyuk, who said, hello 4chan friends, I hope you're all doing fine. A few weeks ago, I got shared information regarding the scripts I was translating together with the team, and I promised to come back here only in case we had a few more details. Surprisingly, the new script has been circulating slightly earlier. Here's the details he says, though. Now, I'll be very honest. The amount of info I've been given is quite big, and I'm not intending to, give the entire, everything to everything, all the information. But there is an airport being mentioned. Now, that's already been kind of shown off a little bit already in the, Pokemon centers in Scarlet and Violet from the latest trailer. There are images promoting airports, so there is something with that. Turbo mechanic, stats boost for weaker Pokemon. It's interesting because we are going to be getting some sort of turbo thingy going on with the legendary Pokemon, the two brand new ones, Miraidon and Komaidon, I think. Those two are going to be vehicles. We're going to be able to ride on those, and they're going to have 5 different forms, which has been confirmed by an actual leaker by the name of Riddle. He's a leaker that gave us real leaked info last year, and he's back with even more info this time, and we're going to go into those informations later. But this one also said there's going to be 2 snake brothers, one bad, one good, and vice versa. Basically, what he's talking about here is most likely the legendaries, because they are kind of reptile looking, if you guys haven't noticed it. The new legendaries for Scarlet and Violet are very reptile looking. It's pretty obvious. Evil Team is building a huge town so to attract people from villages and empty the island, which is interesting. So that is pretty much that. This one, though, wasn't 100% correct. A lot of the stuff back then when it was posted didn't turn out to be real, which is why people were confused about it. But it does talk about, snakes with an Aztec motif, which kind of is what we have here. We do have kind of that similar feeling, but this one could have been real, could have been fake. However, there is another one right here shared by PokeCrafty. It's another posted rumor or leak that was posted on the 14th of April in this case, 14th of April, that mentions an electric snake, a bipedal wyvern, and toxicity. Now, here's what this one says. The legendaries are an electric snake, a bipedal wyvern, and the evil one is a black dragon. Now, we haven't seen that, but brilliant and shining are the key to the new battle dynamics. Changes your type and increases your stats. The Pokemon League is like an academy, and the champion's son is the rival. There are only 7 gyms, apparently, according to this guy. The capture system is a mix of Sword and Shields and PLAs, which is based on what we've seen so far. Could be the case, right? Could be the case. Now, Pokemon centers are checkpoints, and Black and White 2, it's going to have a Black and White 2 type of plot, so very interesting story, plus Titans. So that is interesting. Again, it also had an image which featured a bunch of stuff. For example, a wyvern and dragon looking thing. It featured toxicity as well, which is clearly also, by the way, what these guys are based on. So now you can see here from Soul Silver Art, who's a leak analyst, he came out and said, right now it looks like it was these 2 amazing Pokemon hinting at the other 2 amazing Pokemon. The pattern continues. So one of the toxicities was hinting at this guy. The other one was hinting at this guy. You can clearly, kind of tell what they were going for here. And if we then also look at another thing, now we know these guys were hinting. If you don't know what I mean by hinting here, it specifically is referring to the fact that when there is a brand new Pokemon generation, in that generation, they'll include a Pokemon that usually has 2 different forms, or just a Pokemon in general, that will then hint for the legendaries in the next games. For example, I think, specifically, if we look back at a certain set of games, Solgaleo and Lunala were actually specifically based on, or not based on, but they were hinted at through Noivern as well as Pyroar in the previous games before that generation came out. So keep that in mind. That's how they hint stuff. And clearly these 2 were hinted through this, which is very intriguing. Also, we most likely know because of a leak from Riddle. Again, Riddle is a leaker. He's given real information in the past. And he's basically told us, or riddled to us, that the typing of this guy is going to be dragon fighting. Meanwhile, this lad over here, the other one, this guy is going to have the typing of specifically Dragon Electric, which also fits the design. If you can tell here, it does have even like electric looking like you know, spikes on the top of its head, so that pretty much also settles that. Moving on to the next thing. So Riddler's been tweeting a lot of stuff. One of the things that he also confirmed for us was this right here, which is basically that this he posted a day before the new Pokemon I think Lechonk, before Lechonk was revealed. He posted this image and hinted at Lechonk. He also, through this image, is telling us what we should expect from Lechonk. So we can assume that it's going to evolve, and when it evolves, it will evolve into a white pig. Some kind of white pig is what it's going to evolve into. But that only gets us started on a little bit of Riddler's information, because this guy is a genuine leaker. He's got genuine information. First of all, we already covered this one. We know what it is. This is specifically what the, like, you know, him referring to Lechonk, confirming that it was going to happen, but also giving us information that it's going to evolve into a white-looking pig. Next, we have this information, which is him breaking down one of his old riddles. Now, this riddle is what contains the information for the typing of the legendaries. Now, first of all, if you look at number 9 here, where you see these, like, little items that are colored orange, blue, and yellow, those are the hints for the typings. It even mentions this here. Number 9, if you look at it, number 9 is type hint, which is implying the type hint for the legendaries. He also has, for example, this one, 0, the real info flag, which is a word he puts right here, puppy, which is real info confirmed. Then he has the second information, the 26th anniversary, which is what it is this year. Number 2 is that it's Gen 9. Then there's going to be Scarlet and then Violet for 4. Number 5 is the game's code name, which is Titan. Then number 6, she has a Komodo, like, I guess, alternative art. And then number 7 is the pseudo legendary, of course. In this case, where is the number 7 here? And then, of course, then we have number 8, which is him referring to the box legendaries in this case. So let's see if we can find number 8 here in the list, so which is right here. So yeah, one of the box legendaries, of course, being Dragon Electric. And yeah, there's the same thing, and the type hint is the last one. So through this, we know the typings of the legendaries. We know that those two guys that we just talked about, these two, we know what their typings are based on that riddle. Because again, he's been riddling, giving us information for well over 2 years now. So he's given us correct info. We move on to the next thing though, which is this right here. Specifically what he said here was bonus 2. They may look different on the box because they both have this information. You just seen one of them though. Now, what is he referring to here? Well, basically that these guys, when you translate this information, refers to that these guys will have 5 different forms. What am I talking about? Well, basically that the legendaries we're looking at right here, that like these two badass Pokemon that we saw, these two guys are going to be Miraidon, Koraidon. They're going to basically be in 5 different forms. 5 different kinds of forms of them will exist. Or also that what we see on the box art is not the final version of them, that there will be another version of them of sorts, which we're assuming is going to be 5 different forms based on the, like, kind of the information we've received. And now bonus 3 is the clock one, that's all. Now, what is he referring to here? Well, possibly that we might be getting a Pokemon based on a clock, or that the legendaries have something to do with time itself, right? That the versions we see of them there, that one is the past version and one is the present. We're going to talk about this a bit further later because there is more details to add to this, but let's move on to the next thing, which is this right here. So this is him breaking down one of his polls and what he hinted at in each one of those polls. The first one, of course, up here is more info about the starters, and he posted this image, which pretty much confirms the typings of the evolutions of the starters, and I'm going to tell you which ones they are, okay? So for Sprigatito, it's going to be specifically be a grass dark type. Then Fuecoco is going to be a fire ghost type, and finally Quaxley is going to be a water fighting type. This is the information that's been confirmed. Again, we can trust his info 100%. He hasn't lied to us a single time yet. He gives us correct information, which pretty much again confirms we're going to be getting those typings. And there you go, guys. If you're wondering what the typings are going to be of those Pokemon, we now pretty much know that. So let's move on to the next thing, which is the Gen 9 Object Mon. He hasn't confirmed what this is yet. He still has a question mark, so we do not know what he's referring to there. Keep that in mind. Next, however, is a riveting new RF. Now, RF could either be referring to a regional form or something else that we are not certain of. Maybe a reverse form or a, you know, like something else. Just a form that's a kind of form of a Pokemon or something else that we are not really very versed in. Like some kind of thing is going to be happening here that we do not comprehend 100%. Then there's also Gen 9 Waifu Mon, which is at the bottom here. We do not know any information about it. This image down here of this Diglett is one that we saw, which we do not understand 100% what he means, but he basically told us in another post that this one looks similar to something real that's going to be in this game. Will that be a Diglett form? Will that be something else? We do not know. We're going to have to wait and see how that develops into, you know, further information. But let's continue to the next thing, which is that people are noticing some very interesting, you know, similarities here. So shout out to fellow Roxas here for sharing this, which is that Ryuki looks oddly similar in his design to these guys right here. If you look at like just the general vibe, the colors, everything, he's rocking that same vibe, which could mean that he was put as a hint already back then. He was put into as a hint into these games, you know, just as a way to hint towards them into the future, which is possible. Pokemon does do that. You can deny that as much as you want to, but they do those kind of things. That's what I know, and that's for a fact. Also, another thing, these two are definitely based on vehicles, by the way, specifically bicycles, as far as we know. Like, not bicycle, but like motorcycles, right? And I don't know about you guys, but this man looks like he's going to be like he rides some motorcycles. Just his outfit looks like a kind of like a bit like, you know, punk, bikery almost. That's what I think. Move on to the next thing, which is, again, same thing here. They look very similar. They look extremely similar. And again, something's going on with these guys and their forms. We're going to see how that's going to turn out later. Next up, you guys may have seen this image at the end of the trailer that we got, the latest trailer, which is just a bunch of crystals. Now, I speculated this has probably got something to do with this game's brand new feature. Now, some people were looking at this and saw the shape of a kind of a lion over there. And here you can kind of see what they mean. Like, there's kind of a shape of a lion almost if you look at it in the, you know, in the top left corner here. But I don't know if that's the case or not. It could be that that's what it's supposed to be, or we're just all crazy and we're seeing like stuff and, you know, making up stuff. I, however, think this possibly has something to do with the crystal we've seen in the logo of Pokemon, you know, Scarlet and Violet. So there's a crystal logo, and those logos are usually only in the Japanese logos, and they hint at the game's gimmick. For example, there was a Mega logo specifically in the X and Y ones. There was a for the Japanese logos, of course. There was a Mega icon. Then there was also an icon for the Z moves, and I think even an icon for Dynamaxing, I think was in the Japanese ones, but I could be wrong. But usually they hint them through that, and there is, again, a weird little icon that's featured there, so we're wondering, what does it mean? Well, we don't really know just yet. We wonder. We continue to the next thing, guys, which is, again, from Soul Silver Art, sharing some information, saying, you guys are not ready for this one. The theory below is 99% true. The legendaries both have 5 forms to ride throughout the open world region. Read the theory below and apply this to the new info. You'll see one for each terrain. And here's what he says. And this is the info we looked at earlier. And if you translate it, it says 5 forms. This is apparently correct. And if you look at this right here, it has something to do with these guys. And again, Soul Silver says 100% all of those, all of it's the forms. The 5th is the one we see on the box, the standard form. Yes, so there are 5 different forms that you're going to be having of these Pokemon. What are we referring to here? Well, look, if you look at the box art right here, if you look at the shape of it, it actually features 4 different icons, with the 5th one being the basic one in the middle for each side of them. So what is all this? Well, this icon right here most likely is just the base Pokemon, the base form that we see on the box art. And there is somebody who actually goes a bit further in on this here and breaks them down. So here is the breakdown of the actual logos, right? So the top left one could possibly have something to do with time, right? The top left. So if you look at the top left over there, that one could have something to do with time, almost like a time dial of sorts. Some people are trying to break them down over here. You got like V equals a mirror, for example. The other one in the top right here, this one could possibly be time travel. The bottom left one, I'm not certain about. It looks kind of like squarey. They're guessing here there's something to do with Scarlet, Violet, and then the last one in the corner. I don't know. If you guys have any speculation that add any further information to this, feel free to share them. I personally am not certain of what they could be meaning by this, because there could be a lot of different interpretations of this information. There's a lot of different ways to look at it and break it down. But if you guys have any theories, feel free to share them and let us know what you guys think about it, because honestly at this point, I do not know what they mean. I do think one of them has, like, literally is a form that maybe goes even further back in time. I feel like that's what the top left one might be. Something about, like, it's almost like one of those, like, either a sundial or one of those thingies that, like, drop sand down. I can't remember the English word for it, I'm sorry. But one of those guys. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let me know. Do you guys have any theories on this? If you do, then feel free to leave in the comments, or even hit me up on Twitter at RuffleRowlet and just send it my way. But let's move on to the next thing, which is, this is from Pocozo, who says, imagine Koraidon and Miraidon are being the exact same Pokemon, which they are, by the way. If you look at their actual faces, if you look right here, and this is also something that was, I think confirmed by a user called Eclipse. Eclipse is sometimes a bit of a riddler himself, but he hasn't always had 100% correct information. Sometimes he has real info, sometimes he has fake info, so keep that in mind. But if you look at their two faces, they look identical, and specifically Eclipse said that if you look at them, they might look different, but actually they are the same, which in this case would imply that this over here is the future version of this Pokemon, and this over here is the past version of Pokemon. As Pocozo is saying, they come to our present. So basically, this is the exact same Pokemon, but with a 1,000-year gap between it, right? A 1,000-year gap. They come to our present to save us from a disaster, as they are able to time travel and know everything from the past to the future. Does it sound too strange, right? I mean, look at them. And that's the one thing Eclipse said right here. If you look at how to tell everyone that na are the same but opposite. Well, that's the thing. The only reason they're opposite is because one is from the future and one is from the past, but they are technically the same Pokemon. Just one is from the future version of it, one is in the distant future, and one's from the distant past. That's literally it. It's the same Pokemon, but just from different time frames in history. Literally, that's it. And then, maybe the new villain, as speculated by some people, for example, by Alex Simo YT here, shout out to you, my man, who specifically said, theory, Miraidon is the Darwinian evolved form of Koraidon, thousands of years in the future and the past respectively. The third version mascots will be a present day version. So yes, the third mascot, the one that's going to be maybe evil, is another version of one of these two guys, a version that's in our present time and is an evil version, possibly. Again, could be totally wrong, could be all, you know, like it is not the case. I do think, however, though, that there's going to be some sort of connection, personally, there's going to be some sort of connection to the light spectrum. Now, you might think, well, it's only past and future and all that sort of stuff. Why would they include that as well? But because, again, ultraviolet and infrared, those are two aspects or two colors, red, violet, etc. They're on two other sides of the light, you know, color spectrum, on the visible light spectrum. But to create, you know, kind of an evil villain here, I think using all of the colors of the rainbow, everything, all the colors to create the color white, because that's what's needed to create the color white, is all of the other colors combined together to create that. So maybe that's what the villain is going to be, a white-looking legendary rather than one that's colored black or red or green or anything like that. I personally think it's a white-colored one. That's just my theory, though, and feel free to tell me what you guys think about it. So, we move on to the next thing, though, which is from Soul Silver Arch. It says, I might be changing my idea about the third legend of the trio. It still has to do with the rainbow and light, as the gimmick will have something to do with this as well. And this is the logo, again, that we saw. This is the one we're referring to, which could be in this, be related to this right here, because it's both of them are crystals of some kind. Also, the rival in this game specifically has a, like, kind of an armband, like an arm... a glove sort of thing that seems to be connected to this gimmick in some way or shape. And somebody even says here, Lucas Quoxley Patito said, the new rival is called Nemo in Japanese. Nemo is Latin for nobody, no one. And I doubt it's just a coincidence. Of course, I don't know what that might mean, but I would keep an eye on her. She might be more important to the plot than we think, which is interesting and true. So what could that be? Well, let's get into it. I believe that he says here, but I think it will also fit the time theme. So there might be a rainbow light connection here with the, you know, color spectrum to the third legendary, or also, of course, the time theme, which is already in these games. But he says, I believe it's a Pokemon outside of time. Maybe it's a dark dragon after all. And he continues on saying, this is a three-headed dragon, Koraidon blank Miraidon. So, thanks to the third dark dragon, we've been blessed with the two other dragons. Thanks to those two dragons, we'll be able to see the third dark dragon. Or this third dragon represents the present again. So, here's a, like, quote-unquote, a real leak from Eclipse where he said, thanks to darkness, we've been blessed with lights. Thanks to lights, we'll see the unnoticeable. Basically, by having the past version of this Pokemon and the future version, those two together will unlock the ability for us to see the third version of it, the present, current time version, which humans cannot perceive because we can't see it through the darkness, because it's not blessed by light, and we can't see it through the light because it's unnoticeable throughout the darkness. So basically that's what the deal is here. Maybe these are all the same dragon, with Koraidon being from the past, good times, and Miraidon being reborn in the future, the new times, and the third dragon is from our present time that's somehow being destroyed or experiencing a bad time through the plot of Scarlet and Violet in the present. This is another fantastic theory that lines up really well what I'm talking about in this thread. If y'all want any more theories, you can leave them here. But here's one from Craig, who says, as far as the legendaries go, they are obviously very closely related in appearance, but their origins are clearly different. One of the Violet legendary is a man-created legendary that's meant to pay tribute to the long-lost legendary of the region, which would happen to be the Scarlet legendary. Only this legendary is not a long-lost at all, but rather has been in hiding and is of great lore, of great lore importance, I guess, in the region because it's mysteriously disappeared or something of that nature. On the other hand, over here, then the last shot of the trailer with the whooshing Pokeball, he has two theories about that. One, how the ball speeds up and then slows down. What if this is hinting at the storyline or the gimmick in regards to dilation and time travel, which I think could be possible. Maybe we'll be able to literally, like, skip in the world, in the game's world. Maybe be able to skip in time to different points in time within the world. So maybe we'll be able to skip forward or backwards in time, and the actual map and area and everything changes, possibly, but again, it's just a theory. Now, number two, with the prism and diamond in the background of the Pokeball shot, one has to be familiar with how prisms work. Long story short, they create a rainbow when light is refracted onto them. This would tie into the original theory from the first trailer of multi-typing rainbow type. That's all I've got, but I thought these were a few interesting storyline and gimmick theories. Shout out to you, mate. Shout out to you for that one. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comment section down below. Let's move on to the next subject, which is this right here. So, Blaze Incineroar, as well as Ali Vania, by the way. Shout out to Ali Vania for also doing this during one of our streams. But Blaze Incineroar also did it, which is to analyze the Pokemon marketing strategy and when all the trailers came out in the past. And if you look at the previous Pokemon months and dates and all that, for example, Sword and Shield, when they released trailers, we can, from this, determine when the next trailer is coming. We have so much we can learn from this. So, he analyzed the Pokemon marketing strategy, and in June is when they released the legendaries and a few Pokemon. That is true. We just got that with the latest trailer. The next trailer is most likely next month, guys, in July, and that one should feature the gimmick, because that's what they did in Sword and Shield. They showed off Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing and all that. So in July you can expect that, plus a few new Pokemon. In August you can expect to see regional forms mostly, and a few new Pokemon, as well as more about the gimmick in the game, which, we don't know exactly what that is just yet. September and October you get, like, a bunch of other, like, regional Pokemon, regional forms and stuff like that. So some of the Pokemon have been riddled by Riddler Coup. And November, of course, is when the game is coming out. So at that point, nothing matters anymore because the game is pretty much on our doorstep. What do you guys think about this? Because I think July is going to have a trailer, August as well, and around September, October, we'll definitely get multiple of them. So I think we are definitely on the road of getting loads of information, so stay tuned for that. Let's move on to the next thing, which is, this was actually apparently posted. So did the pig get leaked? Now, the pig was definitely leaked. This guy was definitely leaked by Riddler Coup with that image we just spoke about right here. He clearly leaked it because this was posted on the 31st of May. You can see right here, 31st of May, this was posted. The image we're looking at right here, with Lechonk, this released yesterday in the trailer on the 1st of June, so he definitely knew. But is it possible that this post right here hinted it as well? Because in the bottom left, you can see that there is a piggy there as well. But I don't know. No other Pokemon on this image here has been confirmed, though. So we can't really take that as, confirmed or anything. However, this image is another post that we covered in a previous video. And this one is correct. This is from Tieba Baidu, which is, to more or less preface, it basically is a Chinese version of Reddit, so to say. But oftentimes the people that post there, if they're posting about riddles or leaks, they are usually correct and they don't lie. A lot of their information is often very correct, and over there they value people being, accurate. If you lie to them, they will shun you to death, and they do not appreciate that kind of stuff if you're lying to them, which, you can kind of understand that what kind of pressure the people that post there do have if they want to post something and make sure that they're taken seriously. Well, this guy posted this, and this one actually has been confirmed. For example, number one, up here is a cockatrice. This is literally what the Scarlet Legendary is based on. Down here is one of these lizards. I don't remember what this one's particularly is called. Again, another basis for their design. As well as, of course, we can't forget, there is, these images right here, which connect perfectly to the starter Pokemon. We're going to most likely see Sprigatito standing on on two legs, so just be ready for that. Next up, I want to go into a bit of the trailer information that I might have missed, which is right here we can see 3 different gyms confirmed. Now, the first gym in the left over there is one in the desert that could either be, I'm not 100% certain here, that one could either be a ground rock type gym or an electric type gym based on what Soul Silver thought. The middle one, if you see guys right here, this one is specifically a grass type gym, which is pretty obvious. You even have the logo up here. The league logo is right there. And on top of that, over here, there seems to be, like, people think that might be a brand new Pokemon or just a Scarecrow. We don't really know. Then you have a fire-type gym confirmed right here. And again, we see the league logo, or kind of something similar to that, like an S logo of sorts, which we don't know exactly what that refers to, but we'll see where that goes and what they do with that. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to the next thing, though, which again is that league logo. So we have confirmation that gyms are in here, because the gym logo is typically like in picture 1. Picture 2 is changed gym logo for Sword and Shield. Image 3 from the trailer, gyms confirmed, and marking looks like earth and wind, mountains and seas. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. But that's the first thing that we had to cover right there. So let's move on to the next one. This is actually an interesting one. So shout out to Chris Smith for sharing this one, saying, is it me or does Palmy strongly resemble the cut Firestarter from Gold Beta League? Which, yes, this is something that was also said by Riddle. He told us that they're going to be reusing a lot of old IDs, a lot of IDs that they didn't get to use in Sword and Shield and Gen 7 and stuff. They're going to be reusing them here, and even IDs from all the way back from Gold and Silver could be reused in these games, and I think it's pretty much a fact right here, which is pretty awesome. Next up is this from Fonz, who specifically said, look at the eyes of G-Max Toxtricity, maybe previous gen legendary hints something, plus the shiny color. Now, this is actually crazy. If you look at the eyes, look at the eye right here, look at how it is basically a, what is this? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6-pointed star. If we go back to that like thingy we talked about earlier, right here, look at this logo. Do you see what I mean? It's the same thing. Now, the question is, what does this mean? Well, what's the big deal with Toxtricity? Well, basically, it's the same Pokemon, but it has 2 different forms that give it 2 different kinds of typings, right? That's the way that I'm aware of it. Like, that's the way I see it. So if we look up Toxtricity's information here, so Toxtricity, as we know, we have the amped up form and the other version. So Toxtricity, let's see, forms. So if you look it up, Toxtricity has 2 different forms, right? You have the low-key and amped form. Now, amped form is just, I think, a electric poison type, a regular one, and it's colored a certain way. The other one, though, which we're talking about, which is the low-key form, that guy looks slightly different in colors and a bit just different in any kind of in every possible way. I don't know really how to describe it otherwise. Let's see if we can find more information on it. So I just want you guys to be able to see. So let's see. So amped form here says Toxel evolves into a Toxicity amped form if its nature is hardy, brave, etc. And then the other one, low-key form, if it's a lonely, bold, etc. as well. So there you go, guys. I don't know if their typings are any different, but I do know for a fact that their colors change. And we've been talking about the possibility that maybe these games are not going to focus on like you changing type, but maybe just the color of your Pokemon even changing. You know what I mean? Like just literally the color of it being a little bit different, which I wonder if that would be the case, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. And you know, let us know that's what you guys think as well. So that is that. Let's move on to the next thing, which is this right here. So there is this image that seems to show something that looks like a kind of like, I don't know, like some kind of stone bracelet, like stone in a bracelet on the character's hand right here, which could be, again, a new, like, not megas maybe, but something else. If this is a mega stone, then fair enough, but I don't think it is. But if it is, then fair enough. But if not, then maybe this is hinting at the gimmick again, that we're going to be able to, you know, transform our Pokemon in some way or shape. We're going to have to wait and see that, though. This is also from Anago Lightning, who says that the trainer back translates to Mira Nenkas, which is Mira is mirror and Nenka year, and this is at the back of the backpack of the character right here, which pretty much, it says the extra letters didn't translate over in English, but the S makes it years. I'm only putting this out because of what was at the end of the trailer. So who knows? Again, there's a lot of hints to time here in particular. So we'll see how that turns out. There was a full-on press release about information here from the official accounts of Pokemon, describing all the Pokemon. But one of the interesting parts for me, most interesting parts, is them kind of going more detailed into the cover art reveal, as well as confirming that the multiplayer is going to be the first like open world RPG in the Pokemon series, along with series staples such as trading and battling Pokemon. Players will now be able to explore various locations of the region in these games with up to 4 players. So you can play through the game together with your friends 100%. So keep that in mind. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that pretty much is it for this video. I know this one was way longer than usual. I do apologize for that, guys. But if you did enjoy it, then drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye.